Did we get yes? All right, hi guys, it's me,
Yay!
Tuomo Vauhkonen, coming to you live here from Tahiti with Ela Staniak, who is coming to us live today from Sydney. We got a little bit of a late start for this morning, but we are up and running and we're good to go. Ela, how are you doing, my friend? What's happening in Sydney today?
I am absolutely marvelous. I am beyond excited to be speaking with you today about topics which we are both so passionate about. So I cannot wait to dive into the discussion and hear also from people who will be joining us today, brainstorming through their questions, hearing about their ideas. Let's do this.
Beautiful, beautiful. So just a little quick background check. If you are watching this live with us, leave us a little comment. Where are you tuning in from? If you have any questions, especially to Ella today about feminine leadership, performance, and lifestyle optimization is kind of my area that I'm passionate about, and we definitely share a common interest and specialty with Ella about performance that we are going to be talking a little bit more in a little bit later stage. But today, the main focus will be about feminine leadership and obstacles and opportunities when it comes to feminine leadership, which is obviously on the rise. And I got few ideas and insights about that from my perspective. But obviously, Ella is a special. That's your specialty. That's who the people that you help with a lot through your coaching and your mentorship and the programs that you run. So let's start from somewhere. Let's dive a little bit deeper into your story, your pack story, and especially focuses and emphasis on how did you come from where you started from where you are right now, and how this feminine leadership idea came into for you as a specialty.
Thank you, Tomo. Feminine leaders were actually born in the midst of adversity. Out of all the years, I decided to rebrand in 2020 when my son was 3 months old, when my online accounts, social media accounts got hacked and disabled. I lost most of my following, most of my business. As a first-time mom in first ever pandemic I've experienced. But feminine leadership has been something that has been present in my life personally, but also working now with incredible women in leadership in the last 12 years in space of coaching. I began noticing certain trends and this is what we are going to discuss today, in challenges. But also I have experienced and facilitated proudly so many success stories of satisfaction, fulfillment, breaking through so many boundaries, limitations. So really, I'd like to say that feminine leaders have been in progress in making really since the moment I was born. My challenging upbringing in Poland, in the south of Poland, growing up with a father who was an alcoholic and having a very strong female role model in my mother, who was a professional woman, very nurturing, very smiley, very strong. And unfortunately, losing both of my parents as a teenager before I even turned 15. There are always good two sides to the story, the positive and the challenging. The challenging was that I was very young, left to my own devices, so to speak. But the positive side of it is that I could learn life on my own terms. So through series of lessons/mistakes, some of great decisions, some of bad decisions, being brave, having courage to pursue my dreams. I relocated to Australia 12 years ago, and this is where my journey in coaching space began. I've always worked with amazing women. I've always been drawn to, because of my childhood, to support women and champion women to achieve that next level of trajectory, personally and professionally. I now today can say that feminine leaders is serving just that purpose.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a powerful backstory right there, and it really, I feel it. I truly feel it. Obviously, I was grown up as I was my background a little bit is I was raised by a single mother as well. So that in that sense, obviously, it's a very personal subject for me as well, who was very much of a hardworking mom, and so on and so on. So, but let's get into, if we're just, I wanted to take something on there. You mentioned that you have a lot of like you overcome a lot of obstacles in your own journey, um, and how much those have reshaped the person you are right now versus the wins and victories, if you will.
Every single experience did. And as human beings, mastered a skill of moving away from adversity, away from challenging, away from the discomfort, which is really based on a very basic survival mechanism.
Sure.
However, I like to say that adversity is not avoidable.
Mhm.
And rather than trying to avoid challenges, and sometimes even get stuck in the discomfort, not knowing how to overcome difficulty, what we might do, a better choice here is to familiarize ourselves with, number one, how challenges affect us. In the last 12 years, I've been specializing in behavioral change, behavioral science. I know the power of unconscious and conscious conditioning. And we can definitely focus on growing the internal resources of confidence, certainty, persistence, grit, and more importantly, self-belief, that aspect of self-awareness and knowing ourselves. It is the greatest tool that allow us to then overcome any challenging situation. I'd like to say that I was just given a lot of adversity at a very young age, and you too, Amo, did too. When you look back at it, I'm sure you will agree that all those challenging moments as a child, as a young man, for me as a young woman, etc., today provide us with so many more tools to help others to overcome challenges in their personal life and professional life. We can relate to people's pain, having experienced that. I could tell you a lot about a painful situation, but unless you have the reference of your own experience, you won't have the same understanding of what, again, capital F, it feels like to overcome a challenge. So definitely the challenges, I am very grateful for them. Still today, they still are present. I don't think any business owner can say that they do not ever face any challenges. In personal life, we face challenges all the time too. So of course, they do shape us, certainly. How has it been for you? Did you have a certain moment of a breakthrough, realizing that the way you were dealing with challenges wasn't maybe healthy at some point and you redirected? Or have you always had the resilience and grit to pursue your career, your personal life? How has it been for you?
For me personally, yeah, that's I like that you turn the tables around here a little bit as well. That's great. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I've been always I grew up with my mom, obviously, and if I just start from the childhood, there was I always spent a lot of time by myself. I feel that, again, like you mentioned, that was probably some of the things where I could have had a little bit like brothers and sisters every now and then, but at the same time, that really, from the early age, that built a lot of my internal, the bank of resilience, if you will, because I've always had to overcome anything and everything on my own, pretty much. My mom was there obviously a little bit, and some of the friends and uncles and stuff like that, but in the end of the day, most of the time I was always, it was always me against me. So I didn't really have options and opportunities to go for my father or go for my older brother, or just to, so that really shaped a lot of my thinking, a lot of my behavior. And then I ended up traveling around the world for 15 years by myself, kind of, by myself, for myself, kind of looking for myself at the same time. So those were the kind of things that I'm very happy now to say that I found a partner for my life, and I was able to settle down. But that was, for the longest time, that was kind of bigger question for me, like, am I able to settle down? Am I able to find someone to call my partner and start a family and those kind of things? So I really had to overcome that kind of challenges, in the recent years, I would say in the last sort of 6 to 7 years. But let's there's something that came to my mind from that, because I, for some reason, correct me if I'm wrong, but these kind of things that we're talking about, especially when it comes to interconnection between the sort of work life and the business life and your personal life, I think for some reason I feel that for females they have a little bit more complexity in it, especially you as being a mom right now, navigating a high performance lifestyle and sort of, whereas us males, it's more straightforward. Okay, so you go home, it's home, and you go to work and it's work. But for some reason, and maybe you can tell me why, is that females, you tend to kind of link up more between your work and your personal life, and I think that's where a lot of those challenges comes in your personal life and in your professional life. So maybe you can open that up a little bit, and then maybe offer some solutions of how to navigate that sort of web, if you will.
Fabulous. And again, this is just my experience, right? But based on my experience, I'm going to agree with every single word you said. In the last 12 years, working with incredible, passionate, intelligent, driven, ambitious women, yet time and time again witnessing how women really a lot of the time struggled with finding the true fulfillment, contentment, satisfaction, and more importantly, struggling with capability of achieving great results in life. I realized that what women really want is that convergent sweet spot called the ultimate life. We all have a different definition of it, which is great. It is our right to define our ultimate life however we want to. But it is very true that what women truly want is to have it all. This phrase that we just cannot have it all, at this point, it just annoys me, and I'm going to fight against it because we can. I clarified that there are three major components, pillars that women truly, those women who implement those pillars can achieve the ultimate life, and those who don't struggle with achieving that, sometimes for decades. Number one, it is the alignment, where 9 out of 10 women feel that sense of being out of alignment. I'm talking personally and professionally, just answering your question. Number two is the beliefs. We know, Tuomo, you and I know, beliefs are conscious and unconscious, and especially those unconscious beliefs we are not aware of drive our decision-making, our behaviors, and our actions, our emotions. And number three, it is the connection. The disassociation women experience from the consequences of lack of transformation in certain areas of life is extreme. The alignment, the beliefs, the connection.
The alignment, the beliefs, and connections. So
personally and professionally.
Absolutely. So let's call those. Would you say that those are also the obstacles and the opportunities at the same time?
Absolutely. Those components build my feminine leaders empowerment methodology. I based my one-on-one coaching partnerships on it, my 90-day feminine leaders online group coaching programs. There is a sense of alignment in our career that we strive for and want, and in our personal life. When one of them is missing, we feel out of alignment. The beliefs either drive our success or they do stop us from achieving that success, privately or professionally. Same goes for connection. Women love to feel connected to their purpose, to what they do, to their passion, to their partners, in their professional relationships. We use phrases like, it just feels good. I want to feel good. Women we really want to feel connected to their intuition, that gut feeling, and listen to it. All of those components are really important to grasp in order to achieve the results in our health and well-being, our career and business, our intimate relationships. Having that strong sense of purpose, it is truly important to have the direction in life to achieve the results, to have that sense of contentment and fulfillment, to create that legacy, to really know what I was born here to do in this lifetime. Super important. And of course, something that you're going to love, performance. We talk about productivity is a big one. We talk about working smart, not working hard. Again, it's a phrase that is so thrown around a lot, but do we really know what it feels like to have that flow, being in a slipstream of creating the results? The reality is that majority of people, not only women, feel the sense of resistance in their life. I'll turn one direction, boom, I feel there is resistance. I turn the other direction, resistance. And people feel like that resistance is outside of their control. Well, it's not.
Exactly. That's beautiful. I absolutely love that. Alignment, beliefs, and connections, opportunities and obstacles at the same time. And what you touched up on there about the performance, which obviously I'm very passionate about, and yourself as well. I've just like those three pillars or cornerstones that you just mentioned. I feel like that's the internal hardware, if you will, and then the performance comes out as a byproduct of those. Once we have the alignment, once we have the beliefs in check, and we have the connection really truly in place, then we are able to bring that high performance or peak performance or what have you out into the workplace, also in our personal life. Because a lot of the times when we think about high performance, we think about sort of results, we think about some kind of major achievements, but also back home, like if you're not performing as a husband or wife, the results of your marriage or your couple or your relationship might not be exactly what you want. So I think that in that sense, being a high performer, achiever, if you will, in your relationship might kind of hand in hand with the professional stuff as well. Now, one of the last things, or when we want to touch upon on this, is the emotional intelligence as well, and I think that goes kind of hand in hand with the connection. Something that females again are more than likely better than the male counterparts. Yet that might be also kind of a stumbling block because females, you feel more, as you say. So that, how would you use that emotional intelligence, a slight advantage that you have over us in your workplace, that emotional intelligence that's kind of very sort of hype word at the moment?
I'm going to take a different turn and disagree for a moment with you.
Perfect.
I don't think that women feel more. I think emotional intelligence, it is, now I see it as really a duty for, my Siri just started talking to us.
Okay.
And again, I think that men and women, whether in our workplaces, when running our businesses, especially in personal relationships, it is something that should be our focus to deepen. And we hear about emotional intelligence all the time. People talk about you should be emotionally intelligent, learn emotional regulation. But again, how do we really implement that? The reason why I'm saying it's important for men and women to strive for it, it's because when one person is emotionally intelligent and other isn't, we still have an issue. We still have a problem. An emotional intelligence, what it simply is, again, it is that awareness of self first. It is knowing what emotions we run in when we default in times of high pressure, stress, adversity, challenge. What emotions drive us when things come close to high pressure? Knowing that, being able to clarify that, and then move ourselves into a state that now is productive and allows us to make a decision from a higher state of consciousness, make a decision and act with a focus on creating an outcome that is mutually beneficial, and ultimately having that emotional capacity to not get stuck in the emotion, but to act like a really emotionally consciously evolved person, so we can resolve problems, resolve emotional baggages, and move forward.
Exactly.
Ideally not coming back to the same situation over and over again. It is as important in business, in career. It is as important in our personal lives. The components which I mentioned, you are right. Those are the components which need to come first: the connection, the alignment, the beliefs, in order for us to then become a high performer. You want to do the hard work first of getting to know yourself, addressing what's impacted you in the past, falling in love with yourself, with the human being who you are, knowing your strengths, playing to your strengths, knowing your weaknesses and also understanding them, and achieving high performance in a way that it is your way of living, your way, your being. See, again, being in leadership is very important to too many of us, and in the past I was guilty of that. Hence I'm so passionate about high performance for women in leadership, for feminine leaders. It is because we are in such doing mode. And when you step in doingness at 6 in the morning and you stay in that space until 10 o'clock at night, I doubt that you will have any space or any allowance there to honor yourself, to know yourself, to make smart decisions connected with your heart, connected with your intuition. The daily rituals and the habits of high performer come first.
Beautiful. That is an absolute fantastic segue to a little next segment. So that's, now we've been talking a lot about that internal world, which is absolutely fascinating. I'm very, very passionate about that. But for me, it's always the connection between the internal and external, how we feel, how we think, and what we do. Like you mentioned, how we be and how we do, how we think and how we feel, if you will. So I just wanted to put the people that are watching on LinkedIn side, or if you're watching this on replay, we have a performance and leadership mastery clubhouse room coming up this upcoming Thursday at 3 p.m. PST and Friday 8 a.m. Sydney, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if that's something that you're excited about and you want to join us, continue this conversation in a very more, even more personal level than this, then look us up on the clubhouse. We are going to put the room up just after this live call. But let's get onto those habits that you mentioned there, about feminine performance, if you will, or high performance in the females and the feminine workplace, if you will. What would be your sort of 1 to 3 best tips and tools for females that are in the executive positions, how to balance the performance, how to balance the doing and the being, if you will, during the daytime?
Excellent question. And this is Siri again. And this is something which a lot of women in leadership do not like to hear. Again, because of being in doingness and feeling like our responsibilities continue piling up, what we do not allow ourselves is time to slow down and put ourselves first. Mm-hmm. If you already feel you're at capacity from the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed, what you don't want to do is having someone to say, actually, you need to take time for yourself as a priority. But it is a must. So number one tip that I would give any woman, any man in leadership, but talking about feminine leaders, it is stop and prioritize, preferably in the morning, the time for mindfulness, whether this is sitting in silence and meditating, or just sitting down with your journal and journaling your thoughts, or listening to a guided meditation if you find it difficult to discipline your thoughts and you feel like you must focus on something, that silence is too challenging. That's my top number one tip. One, why is that? Well, it's because there is all tons of research now done that meditation is not only healing in terms of our physical body, it is also that stage when we access our parasympathetic nervous system. This is when our mental health and our emotional health are really boosted. The production of illness fighting gene is even increased, which is mind-blowing. What this really means is that we can prevent or even heal or knock out illness, sickness, some of the chronic illnesses including. So that's a priority. All of us as a society should just focus on mindfulness. If there is one habit that you can only implement and it is 15 minutes of your day, do just that and see how your life changes. It is so simple that most of us don't think that we'll benefit from it. If you're resistant to that thought and you are listening to us right now, all I can say is that maybe you're resisting that because you don't believe in the effects of it, or you think that it's too easy, that it's not going to work. Where you're only talking right now or thinking from your perception of doingness. So stop for a moment and be mindful. It's going to relax your body, your mind, and soul. You'll be able to connect. You'll be able to allow your physical body to slow down. The benefits of it is mental discipline. You'll be more productive. You'll feel healthier. You'll be more relaxed. Anxiety and stress levels go down. Endless, absolutely endless benefits of it. So that's number one. But coming from 10 years of fitness coaching and wellness coaching, I cannot not mention body movement. Whether you like going to the gym for a walk, for a run, playing cricket, whatever that is, playing tennis, running around with your dog or kids or a partner, just move your body on a regular basis. Something that people don't know is that body movement increases brain power. So the speed our brain processes thoughts by 25 to 30%.
Wow.
So if you want to become more productive, if you want to have clarity of thoughts, if you want to feel healthier, if you want your energy levels to go up, and if you want to have greater capacity to make decisions, exercise. It's a must.
Love it. Love it. And for me, well, let's back there just a little bit, because something that came to me. I love that a lot of the times when it comes to meditation and mindfulness and also exercise, there obviously another one is again external, another one is completely internal, in a way, yet they're completely interlinked and interconnected. Again, I always try to remind myself and my clients that higher the resistance, higher the rewards. Higher the resistance, higher the rewards. A lot of the times, the things that we resist the most are actually things that we need to do, and we unconsciously, we like in our gut, we know that I should be doing this, yet we kind of push those things away and we try to do something that is kind of easy, it's comfortable. We kind of divert into that quote unquote comfort zone, if you will, and knowing very well that if I went for a walk, if I went for a little swim, if I went to that gym workout, I would get some rewards from there for sure. And I tend to call it now movement instead of exercise or sports. I come from very much in a sports background, and I like to compete, but I know a lot of the females, especially that I work with, they tend to kind of steer away from the word exercise or sports or anything that's sweaty exercise. Like, oh, there's like a little grinding coming out of me. And sometimes I try to kind of come from the sort of the benefits, the health benefits side. But then when I sometimes switch it to movement, hey, can we do some body movement? Can we just move? Can we dance in the kitchen in the mornings, for example? All of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I can do that. But yet the benefits are very, very similar. You don't have to go to the gym and sweat out for half an hour every single morning. You just have a little dance party in the kitchen or go out for a walk, like you mentioned. So I absolutely love that. And definitely with the mindfulness as well, something that I want to add is like, sometimes I'm sitting down for 20 minutes and 19 minutes and 59 seconds is mind chatter. My mind is everywhere. It's racing, it's thinking, all in the past, it's all in the future. And then there's that 1 second of silence. And that's what makes the difference. but you, in a way, you need that 19 minutes and 59 seconds for that 1 second of silence, and that's the difference maker. If I didn't have that resilience and the capacity to sit down for 20 minutes, I never experienced that 1 second of silence, then during the day I realized, like, hey, I'm actually a bit calmer. I don't react. I actually respond to things. I go from reactive mode to responsive mode. So I think mindfulness, body movement, absolutely vital to put yourself into a better state and a higher performance. Fantastic. Anything else that specifically for females that you could advise sort of during the day or in the evenings, or how do you sort of would advise, especially feminine leaders that are in this high performing situations, high performing positions, that they can sort of, have more performance out of them, and balance out their emotional and mental well-being during the day?
Absolutely, and it is there is a huge difference. Uh, there is a huge difference in stimulating feminine and masculine energies within a human being. What often happens for women in leadership is that there is that need to draw from a masculine energy in order to accomplish tasks, to meet the deadlines, to be directional, to make huge decisions very quick, handling the responsibility. So without that awareness, a lot of women can stay in that masculine energy throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, and then it becomes the new way of living. To stimulate then the feminine energy, and feminine is not weak, soft, and whatever else, or submissive. Feminine energy is there to balance out the masculine, and the masculine is there to balance the feminine. Men and women have both. So specifically for women who want to tap onto that and want to be able to make decisions from a place of connection, want to create alliances and create collaboration opportunities, that again, that's a characteristic of a feminine energy. Women who want to find a sense of peace, centeredness, and flow and freedom. One thing that I'm going to mention is something that you mentioned. Allowing the body freedom is very important. Not only most women feel a sense of entrapment in the body that they do not love, it is also that out of shame, embarrassment, shyness, women do not allow themselves to free their body. So the easiest thing to do to free the body, especially when nobody is watching, is just put your favorite music on and dance freely. That's number one. If you're not much into dancing, because not everybody is, I totally understand that. What you can certainly do is stimulate your creativity. Go back to those times in childhood. What were you really enjoying doing? What did you really love doing before you became the person who is juggling and handling countless of responsibilities? What did you do before you became an adult that maybe has a lot of rigidity at the moment in their life? Was it drawing? Was it being playful? Did you play instruments? Did you play sports? What was it? So finding a hobby, even if it's journaling and just writing your thoughts, or poetry, or maybe writing essays or stories, whatever that is, make time as an urgency. It's urgent to spend time with yourself and allow the creativity to come in. And a lot of people might say, I don't know what I like doing. I don't have time for a hobby. I don't have time to do that. I understand that. But the reason why you feel like you might not have time to do those things that are silly, they're not. They're very important in order to have the sense of freedom in your life. It is truly important that you allow yourself and give yourself a permission to slow down and do so. You do have time. Change your routine in a way that, as an experiment, allows that. Give yourself 4 weeks as an experiment, listening today to these 2 people on LinkedIn and Facebook and wherever else, and see how your feelings change. it is truly important to experience that sense of freedom. And we're talking here baby steps. The reason why I'm bringing up such simple and easy examples to implement is because they are accessible for anybody and anyone.
Mhm.
If you do not have freedom in your career, you need to start somewhere in a small portion of experience of freedom in your daily routine. If you do not have freedom in your love life, whether you are in the relationship or not, people who want to be in a relationship but aren't in one feel trapped. People who are in unhealthy relationships feel trapped too. So to experience that openness and having the invitation for love to flow in, experience the freedom on your own
Mhm.
with yourself. That's why I'm bringing such simple examples.
Absolutely, I absolutely love that. That's a great. We're starting to wrap up here. I just wanted to remind people about our performance and leadership mastery clubhouse room that's coming up. I know there are a few people watching us still live here on LinkedIn, so thanks you guys watching. If you have any comments or ideas or insights that you want to throw out there, now would be a great time. Ella can answer to you about feminine leadership. And other than that, we are going to go on Thursday and Friday. So Thursday, my time, sort of noon here, PST, 3 p.m., and Eastern Standard Time in Australia, 8 a.m. We're going to do another clubhouse room about performance and leadership mastery that we are going to be talking and diving deeper, and it's going to be more intimate conversation even than today. So starting to wrap up this conversation, thank you so much, first of all, for your time. And I know that you have a little one there in a different room, which is probably asking your attention and needs your connection for sure as well. So, any kind of leading, departing thoughts for someone, a female person that's kind of a little bit out of alignment, have a little bit of a self doubt. You say that starting with those little steps, starting with the little sort of routines and habits, possibly. Um, where would one start if somebody's like, hey, I want to perform a little bit higher, I want to maybe climb a ladder, or maybe I want to have a promotion, just wants to feel more, wants to achieve more in their personal, either in their professional life. What would be sort of first steps? Where would you like to start off with someone like that?
In my experience, a lot of women in leadership feel like they cannot ask for help.
Mm.
And it is not always a matter of an ego. It is not always a matter of being in egoistical energy, thinking that I should be good enough to be able to handle my responsibilities. Not at all. If you're not asking for help, if you do not have a sounding board where you can talk freely about what is it that is truly happening in your career, in your personal life, what are your dreams and aspirations, what are you really dreaming about, what do you really want, what is really the legacy that you're wanting to create, then I will definitely invite you to have that conversation with one of us, either myself or yourself too, Amal, because too many women feel like they cannot ask for help
Mm.
or support or to have alliances. Why? Because there is complete misconception about asking for help, thinking that it is a weakness. It is not. We're not talking here dropping on our knees and begging for help. We're talking here about being a high performer who knows how to strategically what conversations to originate in have in order to progress and move forward. I've always had mentors, I've always had coaches, I've always had incredible friends who I can open up to and talk about my life. I've always had people, still do, who I look up to, people who I can contact with every here and there, personally and professionally, and say, hey, this is what is going on. Do you have any advice? Do you know that people are really happy to give you 15 minutes, half an hour of their time and help you out? They do know that. Is that your perception of the world, that there is support out there? So the very first step, I would say, drop that ball thinking that you have to handle everything yourself. It is not human. It is actually debilitating to your progress and to your potential. not ask for help. If you're feeling stuck in the busyness of your thoughts, or if you're feeling stuck in your life, in your career and personally, reach out to somebody or one of us and just have a conversation via messenger or on the call, because there are people like us, Tuomo, who really passionately wants to help others. That will be my greatest advice based on my experience, my personal experience, but also, as I said, working with women now for 12 years.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a fantastic wrap there. And so, saying that, how can people find you in this online space? Where do you hang out the most these days? I suppose LinkedIn is a great space. Where else people can find you?
I definitely do. I hang out on LinkedIn. Most of my time is a great platform. Feel free to reach out to me via email at hello@feminineleaders.co, or you can check out my website first if you want to get to know me a little more, www.feminineleaders.co. And let's have a conversation. At the moment, I offer 1 hour free coaching consultation to provide women with that space of support, and especially moving forward and achieving that high performance. I've got a new 90-day Feminine Leaders online group coaching program coming up, starting on the 20th of May at 7 a.m. Only for 10 beautiful feminine leaders. So just reach out. You just never know where it's going to take you. It's very important to take that first step in a positive direction, and you have nothing to lose, but I dare to say a lot to learn and a lot to gain.
A lot of things to learn, a lot of things to gain. That's a beautiful wrap right there. Thank you so much, Ela, for spending this time with me. I know it's a precious time for you. And just a last shout out, you guys, if you are hanging out in Clubhouse and you're interested of these kind of conversations, if you're interested of high performance, master your leadership game, master your performance levels, get more out of your engine, if you will. Or either, if you're running too high, if you think that the stress levels are too high, how can you bring that performance, how can you bring yourself more into optimized levels and be able to get into those beautiful states of flow that Ela also talked about in today's conversations. And if you caught us on replay, if you're still listening to us, please let us know how this resonates with you, if you have any ideas and insights. And like I said, please do reach out to Ela personally and professionally. I'm sure she will be able to, and super happy to have a conversation and point you to a right directions. So thank you so much again for your precious time, and I look forward to doing this again with you.
Thank you so much, Tuomo. I cannot wait for catching up again on Clubhouse with you and with all the incredible people who are going to join us. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.